Good evening and welcome to Fashion and Lifestyle Cavan TV. I'm Siobhan Harton and I'm here with Virginia Harton, who is a life coach and a holistic therapist. And Virginia is also my sister-in-law, if any's recognised the surname. So Virginia, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hi Siobhan. Well, I've been training in the area of holistic and spiritual studies for the last 12 years. I specialise in teaching Reiki, mindfulness, stress management, and I also do one-on-one treatments in reflexology, massage, Reiki, and also do shamanic healing as well. But I really specialise in the Reiki and the stress management.
Okay, and loads of people actually need loads of stress management after the Christmas, so they will. And so tell us a little bit, like if you were like have the January blues and all that, like what would you do? What would your techniques be if you had a little bit of stress after Christmas? Because I'm sure loads of people out there would be very stressed after the Christmas and have loads of toxins in their body that they needed to get rid of. So how would you do that, or would you have any tips on what to do?
Well, I've loads of tips basically because I don't only teach stress management, I also practice it as well. Just because I teach stress management doesn't mean I don't get stressed. But after the Christmas too, myself personally, my body is just toxed to the last two with all the eating the rich foods and drinking that little bit of maybe extra wine and stuff like that. So basically what my tips at the moment are basically is getting out there in the fresh air, getting out, moving the body, a little bit of exercise. Drinking loads of water is another one.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, because water is really important. Loads of people have been in talking about water for the skin, water for detoxing, water. So water is really good for stress as well.
Oh, God. It's just like when you're... my metaphor is when you're drinking water, you're really just washing toxins out of the body. Because what toxins do, they not only affect your physical body, they affect your emotional body and your mind as well, you know. Because the more toxin your body is... The more I suppose negative, I don't like using that word negative, but the more negative a person can be in their mindset around different things, and the more less toxic you are, your mindset can be that bit more, it's easier to be that bit more positive in yourself.
Right. So you were saying, so if you're a little bit stressed, the best thing to do is get up early, go for a walk, drink water, eat healthy. And is there any way, like you can kind of say to yourself, or any kind of things that you could do as well, like in your mind to say to yourself, you know, to kind of keep positive if you are that little bit stressed or a little bit negative, like you said, you don't want to say it, but that little bit negative thinking, you know, what could you do?
Yeah, well, I would say like... you know, relaxation classes, a meditation class, if anybody can find one in their local area. It's just to teach little techniques. I'm going to give you a few techniques, like some simple techniques. So I find the best way for, say, an instant, like, relaxation is your breath. People forget that your breath is there all the time, and when people start really overstressing about things, it affects their breath, and what happens to their breath is their breath starts to quicken and they're breathing that bit faster. So
because loads of people say that you can't breathe, even though it's the most natural thing in the world for us, that you don't actually breathe properly.
No, you don't. You're shallow breathing. You're actually
that it
breathing.
Just comes from here.
Yeah, and the actual fact, well, this is my take on it. The reason why you feel really tired is that the breath is only getting in here, so the oxygen is not getting down into the body. Right. So you're going to feel like sluggish, and which is going to add also.
So how do you breathe properly then? How do you?
Well,
I know that sounds really stupid to say. How do you breathe properly or dive?
Well, if I had to remember to breathe, I'd be long dead. Yeah, that's true. But it's true. Like we breathe, like, you know, we are breathing. I just say the breath is always there. But I would say like just sometimes like just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, because sometimes when the mind is racing, when you focus it on the breathing, what happens is you're taking your mind off what was annoying you, and when you just do this for 10-20 seconds. I know it's not easy starting off with, you know, the people can do this, you know, for like minutes at a time, but if you start off with 10 or 20 seconds, just stop where you are, breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just count the breaths. And just maybe even another little thing is to just watch the rise and fall of your chest as you're counting the breaths. You know, it's just a simple thing, but it can be very effective.
So just breathe in through your nose. And then down,
right down.
Let it go down,
right in,
and then out.
Yeah, a really deep breath. It's like you're breathing into the core of your being.
Okay. And that you can kind of get an instant relaxation with that.
Oh,
so
completely. Just
and like when you're focusing, like you said, on the breath, you actually can't think because your focus is on the breath. And it slows you down a bit, actually, when you do that.
even as we do it here, you can find yourself just slowing down.
Yeah, that's what I just mean. Like, just after doing that, it sounds like just completely starting to bliss out.
Well, like, it's just something that's quick and easy to do because people are leading busy lifestyles now. You know, and there's a lot out there now about being mindful as well. You know.
Yeah, what is this mindfulness?
Yeah,
what is this?
It's mindfulness. Well, it's a word. Well, my perception of it is it's another word for being present. And then I had to get some people saying, "How can you be present?" And I'm like, well, what all presence is just being here, right now. Just what can you see? What can you feel? What can you touch? Just in the moment. It's something people have just forgotten how to do. And it's also, like the breath work, it's very, very powerful, just even for a few seconds. Powerful, I mean, in a sense of just helping just to help you just to be here, even only for a second. It gives you a little bit of a breather. You know, and while you're doing the breathing even as well, just be mindful. You don't have to close your eyes for it. Some people think that when you're doing the breathing work, you have to close your eyes. You can do it with your eyes open. And being mindful, it's just being present.
So when you're saying being mindful, that's to be present.
To where you are, to what you see, to be present to your five senses.
So say you were in a forest, just say. Right,
yes.
So say you were there with the breath. So being mindful would be being there with the trees, being there with the flowers, being there with the... So just being aware of what's around you, really. Is that what it is?
It's very simple. And that's I like the way you put that, Siobhan. It's being aware just of the tree, of the flower, of the breeze, of your breath as you're being aware even.
Yeah.
You know, because when you do that, it's like, I suppose another way of putting it is like, you know, when you listen to music sometimes, Siobhan, it's like, you know, the way it's another way of being mindful or even to relax you. Some people find music just amazing as well. You know, it's just.
Well, I find music takes me places.
Yeah, takes you. Well, if it takes you places that you just love to go to, I would say definitely do whatever works for you. Everybody's different. Everybody's different, you know. And I always just share tips that I use myself and find very effective. And over all the courses I've done all over the years, it really comes back to good old common sense. And I don't know where I just seen these words, but the word common sense is not very common, and I just think that's hilarious. Because
it's not very common.
No,
it's right.
It's like we've just forgotten, because I call it the monkey mind.
Even like the
monkey mind.
Okay, what is the monkey mind? Tell us a little bit about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, well,
there's a monkey in my mind. What's going on?
Well, this is how I see it. We're all human beings, and we're all conditioned in our own way. You know, conditioned from we're born. And how I would perceive the monkey mind is the little inner critic that shouts in your ear sometimes, like, "Oh, you can't do this. You're not good enough." You know,
I've got one of those.
His
name is Dave.
Well, no, I'm not talking about Dave. Well, you can call it
Dave. I'm Paul Cox.
Well, they're not bad monkeys.
They're not bad monkeys. They're good monkeys to have in there.
But yeah, it's just.
So tell us a little bit. Sorry, Virginia, I cut you off. What's a little bit about the monkey mind?
Well, I just call it. It's another word for the inner critic. You know, it's like the negative voice. That negative voice that we as human beings sometimes have. It's not there all of the time, but when it is there, sometimes it can stop us from fully realizing our dreams or fully being the potential that we can be. And I used to think I was the monkey mind. I thought that, you know, this little voice that was talking to me, that I believed everything it said for a long, long time. It was only till I got into energy work and got into how the universe works, you know.
And is it like the monkey mind is the negative thinking, or is it all thoughts?
No, it's not all thoughts. Well, this is only my perception of it.
Okay.
It's like, I call it the monkey mind being a monkey when it's stopping you from, you know, from being your potential, as I said earlier. But
Right.
I believe some thoughts
Okay, so
are
it's your
positive.
block. It's kind of like your block, the
Yes.
person or the thing that's holding you back in life.
In life,
Okay.
yeah, that would be it's only my take on it.
Right.
But,
and how do you get over this monkey mind? Like,
well,
how would you stop it, or how would
well,
you feed it, or not?
I have a funny way of doing it, and it works for me. And please God, it'll work for whoever wants to use it. I just say it's like when the little inner critic starts. I just say it's like the monkey mind. So what do monkeys eat? Only bananas. As I just say, when the voice starts, I just say you have a choice in that moment. Do I feed my monkey mind and go with the thoughts, or do I say no, I'm not listening to that, I'm better than that? And there's another saying I love is, don't believe everything you think.
Oh, that's a great one. Don't believe everything you think.
Yeah, don't believe everything you think.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's only a thought.
It's just a thought, and as I say, a thought is just a thought. We have gazillions of them every day. And it's the ones we choose to focus on is the ones that will either empower us or disempower us. And they're just all thoughts.
Right.
You know?
And then the other thing was that like we are our own worst critics. We are, and so this is where the whole monkey mind thing comes in, that we are our own worst critics.
Well, I've often heard a great saying, if somebody else gave us the abuse that we give ourselves, we wouldn't take it.
Well, that's so true.
No, it is so true. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the inner critic, and as I said, it's not there all the time, but it just keeps us small sometimes, and we're so much more than the monkey mind. Like, we're like, we have the potential to be anything that we want to be.
And is setting yourself like reasonable goals and realistic goals all part of that, getting over it? The way some people really do high achieving things, like which it's not really possible for them to do. And I don't like saying that, because I think a lot of anything's possible. But so setting them realistic goals, is that another way, like baby steps, is to get over that inner critic?
Exactly. Well, how I set my goals is I do a little exercise. It's called a vision board. And
I've heard of vision boards.
Yeah.
Never done one.
Have you not? Oh,
maybe that's where I'm going wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to do a vision board.
No, there's nothing wrong. I always say that it's wherever anybody is in life now. Right now is where they're meant to be. There's no right or wrong. I don't believe that at all. And it's just, I find the vision board a great way of helping you with your goals, because it's something that's there and you can see. And as I just say, realistic goals are good. Like, as I just say, you don't limit yourself, but at the same time, you do something that you know that you will achieve. I've done mine there back about 4 months ago, and already half of it has come true. They're simple, realistic goals.
And is the whole thing behind that is that when you see it every day, that it becomes your reality, that you're thinking it, and your thoughts are your actions.
Exactly. Okay. And it's like, sometimes people say to me, well, how is all that going to happen? Mm-hmm. And I just say, well, look, I trust that it will happen, but it's not something that'll just happen without you doing some action steps. Sometimes I just say, well, just every day, every given day, if you can take one action step in one different area of your your goals to help bring it about, and you'll be guided intuitively.
So what kind of things do you put on a vision board? Like, is it pictures, is it words, is it what kind of things? Like, if someone was out there, because a lot of people would probably be doing some for January, because they always do goal setting or different things, like it's the new me in January. They always go, it's a fresh new. So what do they do for that? Like, if I had a vision board, what would I do? How does it start out?
So if is there one goal that that you'd like to achieve right now? Can you think of one?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you share it? Can you share it? Can it be put on air?
I'll pick a different one.
Okay.
Okay, let's do a holiday. Let's do a holiday.
A holiday, right. Well, funny you should say a holiday, because I sat up in mine. So what I did was, when I said to myself, right, my goal is to go on holiday, I just found a picture of this lovely ocean with a palm tree on it, and I stuck that up on my vision board. And 2 months later, I found out that I was going to Lanzarote.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you just put images up. You didn't have to put the whole airplane or the stages step by step or how you were going to get the money or anything like that. You just put the end goal.
I put the end goal up.
The end goal up.
And of course it has to be paid for now
Yeah.
as well, like, you know, that happened, but it happened, it came around.
Yeah.
And
So is it kind of like, totally, that you focused on this and you just
focused on
made
it.
it happen yourself? This
Yeah.
is the image that you saw, you focused on it and just made it happen.
But as you
instead
said,
of getting distracted by other things.
Yeah, exactly. But as you said earlier, like, do I put an airplane? Do I put, you put whatever feels right with you. Mine just happened to be the sea.
The sea.
and the tree.
No cocktails.
No. When I came about real quick, I went back to look to see what the rest of them were. No, but it's just a good way of doing it. You know, that's just my way of. There's loads of other ways to do goal setting, but it's just one way that I found, especially if somebody is into like energy work as well. I don't have to be into it.
Yeah.
As I just say to people, anyone that's not into
And
energy work.
what do you mean by energy work? When you say energy work, what do you mean by that?
I probably mentioned earlier. I mentioned the universal energy. You know, I believe in my
I've
heart.
heard loads about the universal energy, and do you know what in simple terms, what is that, or what do you mean by that?
Well, I feel, and I used to often read books on it, you know, that we're all connected, and I was only through the work in the last 12 years, I was like, we're all connected? What do you mean we're all connected? Yeah. And it was only as I started, you know, on the journey doing all the different courses with the Reflexology, the Reiki and all of that, but it was, I'll tell you, it was one time I was watching the Late Late Show a few years ago, and there was a beautiful man called Deepak Chopra on it.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, and only out of the blue, I just happened to watch the television, and he just came out with this statement. Now, I don't know if it's the exact statement, but it was something similar to it. It was like, if everything, absolutely everything in the universe disappeared for a few seconds, there'd still be the space that it's all in. And he said it, I think he said it twice.
Say that again.
If everything in the universe, everything, the sun, the stars, everything, oceans, everything disappeared, like with a magic wand for a few seconds, right? There'd still be the space that it's all in. And in that moment, it was like, oh my God, I get this now. It's like, that's the, I suppose you could use the words, so they're only words. It's the eternal, it's the one awareness, the one consciousness, spirit.
So it's like we're one with the sea, we're one with the trees, we're one with the connection.
It's like the connection.
It's all the same.
Yeah, that's how I felt in that moment. And it's just the mind, the monkey mind, the condition that keeps us as a separate person. Yeah. Even though it's great being a person and great living life, but it's when you really connect.
Yeah, so that's like the scientific thing. What about atoms?
It's about energy, atoms and energy. You know,
yeah,
we're all energy. Everything's energy. You know, and when you wake up to that within yourself, it's like everything comes alive. You know, and it always was alive. It's like just when you just wake up from within.
So can you feed energy off, so say as yourself, but I know we're kind of getting into the whole scientific part of it as well, like can you feed off, you know, say the sea or the plants or other people, you know, the way you say, oh, that person drained all my energy. Do you know, what is that?
Yeah, well, how I would say that is, because, you know, that's another thing for stress management is to surround yourself with positive people. When you think about it, when you're around somebody that's positive, you just feel like amazing. Yeah. You know, even somebody that writes a positive book, you read that book, you're getting that energy.
Yeah, or a great song.
Yeah, a great song.
Yeah.
But think about it on the other hand, when you're around somebody that's just negative, it's like, you know, and especially if you're a type of a person that wants to help somebody, and then when you're trying to help somebody that possibly maybe just doesn't want your help at the time, or maybe not want to be helpful, stop. Everybody's different. And as I just say, I respect where everyone's at. You know, that's just, you know, we're all individuals and we're all where we're meant to be. But sometimes I just say you can feel it, like it's like you're just drained after them. Yeah. Even on the telephone.
So how do you do it? You know, how do you stop someone that's draining you, or if you feel that?
Well, being aware of it, I suppose. And some people say, well, I can't run away, and I'm like, no, I would never ever recommend that.
Leave them, abandon them, divorce.
Well, there's a little tip I use all the time, and I share it with a lot of my clients, and it's like using your imagination, because I just say our imagination is great and we learn to use it in a powerful way. Yeah. Now, if people that's into energy will probably get this, but people that's not into energy, I would say try it. Right. You have absolutely nothing to lose.
What is this? I want to know.
But everything to gain by this one little tip. if you visualize yourself every morning, because when you wake up in the morning, you're setting yourself up for the day. Believe it or not, the first thought you get in the morning sets your scene for the day. Think about that one. So if you get out of the bed on the wrong side, believe you me, I've done it, get back in again. So when you get out of bed, be aware of that, and there's nothing wrong with it. As I just say, even if we get out like a witch, I've often got out like a witch.
Oh yeah, you should see me some mornings now.
I just hide the broom behind the door and I take it out and bring it with me. But that's a conscious choice. But seriously though.
So when your thoughts in the morning create your day.
Yeah, the first thought I would say, but what I would say to people, this little tip for other people that's training them is, if you visualize yourself surrounded in a bubble of white light, just do this, even if the
just like around.
Yeah, just
bubble.
right round you, just right round your bubble, and and your intention of this is that nothing negative, nobody else's negative energy can come near you at all.
Right.
And just try it.
Yeah.
Anyone that's maybe.
So that's to do. So that's good about just before you, like the stress management thing.
Yeah.
So create a bubble of white light around you before you get up, go for your walk.
Yeah.
Do your breath work and drink some water.
Yeah.
So
All of that could take, like, I know sometimes maybe now the walk, people mightn't be able to get to walking every day, but like setting your clock 15, 20 minutes earlier. But if you can't get it in, do the other little tips. Be aware. Just be mindful as when you wake up in the morning. Like. As I say, no one knows what's ahead. None of us do know what's ahead. But when we have a positive mindset, it's really a good help.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
That is great. And then the other thing, I know the vision boards, but I've often heard you talk about affirmations as well.
Yeah.
I know you're very good at doing them.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about affirmations.
Well, affirmations basically they're like words you say to yourself. We do them all the time. We're all, like, as I just say, we have thoughts going on in our heads 24/7, but sometimes it's the ones we focus on, as I said earlier. So when you wake up in the morning, like, there's a simple one you can do. Like, an affirmation is remember I talked about the energy earlier on. So if you want to connect to that energy that connects us all, the simple one is, I am having a fantastic day.
Do you know who I heard used to do that? Well, I suppose it's not a good one now, but Bill Cullen used to always do that every morning, look in the mirror at himself, and say, and used to say, I'm having a fantastic, actually, I'm terrific, he used to actually always say, and look at himself in the mirror and say that. And I've heard loads of people say that it really sets you up. Like a lot of the athletes, they do that, like they're very focused and they say, right, I'm the best at this, I am, So do that in the morning and that will set you up for your day.
Oh, definitely.
In the mirror to yourself.
In the mirror to yourself, or even if you don't have a chance, if you get to the mirror, you say it in the morning to yourself. Even put it on a little sticker. You're not saying it out loud now.
I was going to say.
No, you don't go up the town going, I'm terrific, I'm terrific.
I am. It's me.
No, you'd surely have,
So this is behind closed doors.
No, it's not. It doesn't have to be behind closed doors.
Yeah.
It's just in your mind. You're saying it. It's silently. The way you talk to yourself silently. I am terrific. Whatever one you want to use.
So what kind of things? I'm terrific, or
I find just
I'm fit and healthy. That would be a good one.
Somebody
actually,
for New Year now. I am
New
fit
Year's.
and I am healthy. Like with my NLP training, you actually think from the end and you work back. You visualize, like you mentioned earlier on, Siobhan, about the athletes. They run their races so many times in their heads before they actually run the real race. It's a great way. There's another great
So
saying.
Visualize yourself doing it before
Visualize
you
yourself doing it. That's the power of the imagination, because highly realized people learn to think from the end, then it can show up in their reality.
Oh, very good. So that's like the vision board.
It's like the
again,
vision board,
but having it in your mind.
But having it in your mind.
So.
And no, it's not an option.
Right. So it's just you're doing it. That's it.
That's it. And it's like also, but the important thing is set your goals, but don't be attached to them. Because when you're attached to them happening, you're not enjoying the process of reaching them.
That's actually hugely important, because you'll see a lot of people and they're just so focused on it. And you kind of go, are you actually enjoying getting to the end? Which is most important, the actual enjoying. And I suppose that what you said, being mindful and being present and, really enjoy the process. The end result is just the reward.
Exactly. It's like when to take the action step. You've set your goal and just enjoy the process, because it's the being, the joy of being where you are right now. That's the joy of living.
Yeah.
You know, and you can still set goals. You know, as some people, when they hear people say that about the joy of being and living in the moment, they're like, well, she'd end up doing nothing. But it's not that. It's not that you're not doing nothing. It's that you're still doing, but your doing comes from a different place. It's not from being attached to it happening or when it happens, but just knowing inwardly that it'll happen.
So it's doing it in the moment.
In the moment.
Which is different than doing it for the future.
Yeah.
It's doing it in the moment.
Yeah, it's like when you can set your goals by whatever date or whatever year, but it's when you're really present and mindful.
And taking the baby steps.
And enjoying it. Enjoyment is the key.
Yeah.
You know, enjoying it and not being attached, because when there's attachment, there's fear of them not happening. And then when there's fear
that's good. Where there's attachment, there's fear.
Yeah. It's a fear. Why would you be attached to something? You know.
Yeah, because if you weren't attached, it wouldn't matter if you got there or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
So
we're nearly coming to the end, Virginia. Is there any other things that you would like to say about stretch management, or even like for the January blues, how other people can get it out of that, up and out, and really experience being in the moment and in.
Well, first is making a conscious decision that you're going to do something about it. That's the key. If you really want to do, you could sit and talk about it till the cows come home.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're the person that's taking the action. You can know to drink water, you can know to exercise, but no one makes no difference unless you actually do it. It's just such a difference. It's like taking the action yourself. Nobody can do it, only you. But you know what? It's like every day you get up when you're putting something on the long finger. Just do it, because when you do it, you feel so much better. You feel empowered. You're the only one that can do it, and you can do it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Actually, a friend of mine, we were just talking actually, and we were talking about someone saying that they could do better. And we were saying our strap line for this year is, I'm just going to bloody do better. Yeah. So that's a really good way to end it. So thanks a million, Virginia, for coming on Fashion and Lifestyle, and that's great. I think everyone would be absolutely out there and just do it. That's the strap line.
Eat that monkey. Eat the monkey. Just do it.
Or feed it.
Yeah. Well, you can feed it, but it'll be a very fat monkey sitting on you. Full of bananas. Yeah, like a fat Buddha. Yeah. Laughing Buddha.
So there'll be loads of great fit-minded people out there after this, and thanks a million, Virginia, for all those tips. So I think it is really important, especially for January, because the weather is so bad and everyone is down after Christmas because they're on such a high, a family high and everything like that. And it's all about healthy eating and healthy mind, body and spirit, just being healthy and just taking responsibility for your own thoughts, your own actions, and what goes into your body as well is really important. So taking responsibility for that and just getting out there and doing it.
Exactly.
So just do it.
And like I do my own workshops, so if anybody feels
actually,
guided to, I do various workshops.
So if people want to get in contact with you, Virginia, how would they get in contact with you, or what,
Will I give a number? I can give a number now. It's 087 77 40901, and my website is www.virginiaharton@yolasite.com. And
so we give that number out again. So it's Virginia 087 774-0901. So it's 087 774-0901, or else it's Virginia Harton at yolasite.com.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if you want more of Virginia's coaching or mindfulness, or how to meditate, or how to become a positive thinker, you can get her on her phone number or on that website, Yola website. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you very much, Virginia, for coming in. Really enjoyed that, and I think I'll definitely be having my vision board out for that holiday and other stuff. So thank you for watching Fashion and Lifestyle Cavan TV. I'm Siobhan Harton. Good night.